What's up, y'all? Wanted to give you a video because I wasn't able to record this week with my cohort, my co-host. I was traveling over the weekend, over the long holiday, and got caught up in DC. That's a story for another day, but I felt really compelled to talk about disappointment today. I got some really interesting feedback from someone that I was speaking with I guess last week or the week before last. And they brought to my attention that disappointment is something I am looking to avoid when it comes to pursuing a potential partner or just kicking it with people in the first place. And why? Why do I have that? Why do I have such a visceral reaction to disappointment? Why am I trying to, especially if I'm dating? If I'm dating, I really want to disappoint that person sooner than later. That way we can get it out of the way. We can see how we work and we can move forward from that. So the sooner the better. And I think I have been digging myself in a hole. I haven't even revisited this question in such a long time of what compels me to want to disappoint somebody, or what makes me think that disappointing someone in the beginning is way easier than having to deal with, I guess, anything else, or not dealing with them. Dealing with them with the image of me they have in their minds. So often I have this idea that somebody thinks that I'm like holier than thou, or that I'm perfect, or that I'm this and that. And that makes it really difficult to kind of be me. I want to live up to those expectations as much as possible. And that doesn't bode very well in many instances. The thing that frustrates me the most about this is I have no idea where I learned it. I have no idea what experiences justified to me the fact that disappointing your partner sooner than later is beneficial. I don't think I heard that anywhere. I don't think I've read it anywhere. That might just come from me and my disdain for disappointment. At the end of the day, it is a necessary part of life. And I have no idea why I feel so strongly about it. And that's something that I will have to, I don't know, take plant medicines or something like that to really kind of dig deep and figure that out. But with that said, I faced some really difficult disappointment today. And it makes me want to, it makes me wish I had those tendencies that people do have that I've noticed. When someone gets crossed, they take it absolutely personally, and they make sure that they cross the other person 10 times as worse. Or if you are crossing me, then you're dead to me, kind of thing. And while I felt that way earlier today, I had to be reminded that my heart is too big for that. I had to be reminded that that's not me. You know what I mean? Holding grudges isn't me. Writing someone off isn't me. I even wrote in my book, like, yo, this person has proven to me that they are actually working towards creating as much destruction of my life as possible, or at least upheaval if it's not destruction. And I don't know how many of you dealt with that, but it doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me spiteful. It just makes me disappointed. And especially those that are closest to you, right? Those that you want the best for, those that you've strove, those that you have worked so hard to help support, those that you've poured into, for some reason or another, are the ones that want to inflict the most pain in your life. And without having to go into any detail, it is such a humbling experience really dealing with that. It is so frustrating because, again, I don't see this. It doesn't feel this bad if it's coming from somebody that I kind of expect it from. Whether it is someone who just doesn't care about me, or somebody who has someone who's apathetic towards me, right? There's a a level of care that somebody may have, and it's just like, well, yeah, if you're useful to me, then cool, we can rock. But as soon as you stop being useful, like, I'm out. And I can't even, I don't knock the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, if Charlemagne said it best, if you're not useful, you're useless. And so I do kind of strive to be useful. I want to be an asset in the lives of people that I care about as much as humanly possible. But when somebody is making decisions intentionally that are creating havoc in your life, what do you do with that? Especially when it's somebody that you want in your life, somebody that you care for deeply, whether it's familial, whether it's phileo love, or just, you know what I mean? Like somebody that you've grown up with and somebody that you have that bond with. Why do we have to fight those that are closest to us? I was getting really negative earlier today. I was getting really spiteful. I was writing in my journal actually today, after I saw that person, and it's just like, man, I can really write this person off. I don't need this person in my life. This person is more of a liability than an asset. I've proven myself to be an asset in this person's life. If I don't talk to them again, I know that I can rest easy knowing that I did my best in that relationship. And then there's the other part of me who's just like, not only did I do my best in that relationship, but nah, fuck that. Run that pound of flesh. I need to get that pound of flesh off you, yo. If this is what you want to do, let me show you how I can get down. But that doesn't work. That doesn't behoove you, especially if you know yourself to be kind of, I hate to use all these words. I'm not elevated, but I'm just in a different space. I'm not controlled by anger or by grief or by fear. And I have to remember for myself that wallowing or dwelling in those emotions takes me away from the life that I do want to live. And as difficult as it is to remember, I am not this body. We are not these experiences. I am not these emotions. I am not these emotions. I think that is something that I have to carry out of this situation, is I was able to observe the emotions, especially as I wrote them down, and I kind of just let them go. It did help that I spoke with somebody that reminded me how big my heart is, and all the other people who are intentionally keeping contact with me. The people that you affect have an effect on you. And whether it's negatively or positively, it's super important to just take a step back and see the effects that you're having on these people. I don't know. There's got to be something in the air, because there's too much happening at the same time when it comes to friendships, especially those that are closest to me. It feels like when you give somebody access to a certain aspect of your life, or even for me, it's my name. My name is something that is incredibly sacred to me. And by me giving you my whole name, by me telling you what my entire name is, that should mean something to you, hopefully. Or at least it conveys to you that I want to show you that you're important to me by giving you my name. And so some people just play around with it. Some people, and I guess I can't expect them to revere it the way that I revere it, but I also need to make sure that I communicate to them that, yo, this is not to be trifled with. This isn't something that I give to you lightly. Just because I don't mind that you say it doesn't mean you have to just like pull it out whenever you feel like you can, or just use it on a whim or something like that. Like, have respect for what I've given you. Have respect for what I have. Unfortunately, I can't take it away, or I would have. But that respect is just, I think I need to make sure I convey that to those that I love, that I take it as disrespect when you are not revering what I've given you in the way that I revere it. Now, on the other hand, once I give it to you, it's out of my hands. I can't control how you handle something that I've given you. And I guess that is my fault. And I don't give it away lightly. And I am glad that I gave it to the people that I've given it to so far. But there is something to be said about seeing someone kind of just play around with it, or play around with you. And I need to make sure that I nip that in the bud. It's hard, man. This is a hard thing to do. Kind of walking that fine line between I'm a spiritual being having this physical experience, and staying in this physical experience and working through how do I get my get back, or how do I just like X this person out of my life and things like that. I don't quite know how to find that balance. I'm not quite sure what I need to do in order to show these people grace. I I do want them in my life if they are better people at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And if you're not interested in being better, or at least regarding what I've given you as like better than you have, then I kind of have to. I have to get you out of my life. But man, I don't want to. These are people that I love intensely, immensely. And while my life is probably going to be better for it, I think that their lives are going to be worse off. And I don't say that from a place of ego at all. I don't say that from a place of trying to be braggadocious, but I truly believe that my life isn't going to be affected whether you're in it or not. I have joy because I'm able to see you in these different aspects and kind of like not bring you along, but grow with you and all these develop with you. And on the other hand, it is you can't bring everybody. You just can't. Not everybody is going to understand their actions in this life. Maybe they need a couple of more lifetimes before they really figure out that you can't be a slave to your emotions, and especially anger. I don't listen to him anymore, but there was a cool 2-month period where I listened to Jesse Lee Peterson just about every day. And this was not that long ago. He is a troll. I definitely give you that. But his Sunday sermons are really beautiful. But not only his Sunday sermons, some of the calls that he's been with people, I've learned 2 really, really important things, ideas that I'm taking with me throughout my life. 1, you must forgive your mother. You have to. Your mother did as best as she could with what she was given. And he also says, forgive your father for not being able to protect you from your mother's emotions. And that is something that may not apply to everyone, but it absolutely did for me. And while I didn't have any kind of ill will towards my father, especially because I got older and I started seeing the things that were going on in my household, I'm starting to see in other people's households. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that may be a single parent that has a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old or 15-year-old. I'm starting to see some of my mother in those actions. And while it's none of my business, I definitely stay away. I can't help but think, I would love to be able to just show them what the path that they're walking on leads to. I would love to show them what the 60-year-old version of this is. I guess almost 70 now. But I don't. I keep it to myself because we are all here to have our own experiences. And as frustrating as it is as frustrating as it is, I cannot grow someone else. I cannot help someone else. That's a third thing that Jesse Lee Peterson taught me. You can't help anybody. Everyone is doing it on their own. And that reminds me of something that I learned early in life, and is that technically there's no such thing as teachers. We're all students. And there are some students who are going to learn because they're interested in learning. And there are some students who are going to learn because they need to move on to the next grade, or they need to get good grades for whatever reason. They just need to move. And so I am stuck in this place of like really, really wanting to connect and wanting to help water a desert rose almost, right? It's just like, yo, I know the unfertile soil your seed was planted in, and I really want to help you. I don't want you to be this dried up succulent. I don't have the water to give you, but I can kind of show you how to get the water. Let's get our roots down into the dirt. Let's just move past all of the rocks, all of the gravel, all of the things that aren't helping our growth, and let's get down to the water. But some people don't want to. And that is the most sobering part of this whole experience, is that I can't bring people with me. Marcus Garvey said that. He's like, yo, as much as we want Africa for Africans, and as much as we want to change the image and the perception and the economic strength of African Americans, not everybody's interested in this fight. And so not everybody can come. And I think that is the same when it comes to this spiritual awareness or spiritual development or just curiosity about being a better human, even without the spiritual aspect of life. Just how can I be better? How can I abide by rules, unspoken rules? How can I abide by rules when it comes to gentlemen? How can I abide by rules when it comes to relationship? How can I abide by rules when it comes to just being a good person? A lot of these rules aren't taught to us. These are all things that we are either learning trial by fire or reading somewhere or just really sitting down and contemplating it. I had a rough day, but thankfully I meditated this morning, and that helped me kind of transmute those emotions. Writing definitely helps as well. I write every day. It's my journal right here. I don't know, one day I'm going to actually go through it and read these entries, but for now, it's just all about producing and documenting. And working out how I feel, working out what's going on internally. Putting pen to pad really helps me with that aspect of my personal development. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard doing it by yourself. It's hard doing it when you truly feel like there aren't people around that you can lean on. But the worst part is you are trying to be the person that other people can lean on, and instead they want to kick you. That I can't have. And as much as I want to retaliate with the same energy, that I can't do, because that takes me out of who I am. And the last thing we're going to let somebody do is make me somebody that I'm not. Make me choose to do things that I wouldn't do on my own, or make me lose my square, like not standing on my square. Emotions do rule, and I respect anybody that's able to walk away and quell those like urges, whether it's for violence, whether it's for all kinds of things. Really being able to see it from the outside, step away from yourself and see yourself wallowing or dwelling in those negative emotions, and making that decision to intentionally stay with it and go deeper, or jump out and say, hey, that's not me, or that was me, or I don't need to be that person anymore. This is a really solemn episode because this is how I'm feeling right now. I don't know if this is going to help anybody, but please remember, we are all on a journey. Be kinder than necessary, but also really try to be reflective. Hindsight is always 20/20 if you care to see it, if you care to look. But we are not our emotions, and being able to trust somebody that is deeply angry is impossible. While that anger may not always be shown, you know that anger hasn't been, if you know that anger hasn't been resolved, then you're in for a world of hurt. And you have to keep those people as far away from you as possible, because they will justify doing anything to you through that anger. That anger is going to cloud all of their judgment, and they have no problem doing things that they know in their heart of hearts they will regret. And they probably regret it afterwards, and they still stick with it because that anger has made them think, oh, this person deserves it for whatever reason. So yeah, biting the hand that feeds you, or what do they say? Cutting off your nose to spite your face. These are all things that remind us that anger doesn't help anybody involved. And while it could have helped you in survival mode, it's really important to put that away and, be better, I guess. I'm going to end that here and say that tomorrow's going to be better. It's about 11:15. And I'm in a row because it's like 50 degrees here, and South Florida doesn't have any heaters in their building. So I'm actually going to turn my my air fryer back on and take it down. I'm probably going to have a hot shower too, because that's going to get the day off of me and have me really prepared for a better weekend. So I'm going to end that here. And I hope that this helps and reaches anyone that it's meant to.